Former President Donald Trump sent shockwaves across the globe on February 5, 2025. Speaking at a rally in Florida, he unveiled a controversial plan: the United States would take control of the Gaza Strip. The announcement, met with a mixture of disbelief and alarm, has reignited fears of a global conflict, potentially spiraling into World War III. Details of the plan remain vague. Trump, however, insists that this move is necessary to establish peace in the volatile region. He argues that the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas necessitates direct U.S. intervention. This intervention, he claims, would safeguard American interests in the region. Trump's declaration marks a significant departure from the established U.S. foreign policy. Previous administrations have consistently advocated for diplomatic solutions and peace negotiations. His decision to pursue unilateral military and political intervention in Gaza has sparked outrage and condemnation from the international community. Many fear that this move could plunge the already volatile Middle East into further chaos and bloodshed. Trump's Gaza plan has been met with swift and widespread condemnation from the international community. The United Nations has called for an emergency meeting to address the situation. World leaders have denounced the plan, expressing deep concern over its potential to ignite a wider conflict. Key U.S. allies, including the United Kingdom, France, and Germany, have voiced strong disapproval. They fear the plan could further destabilize the region and escalate tensions between Israel and Palestine. The European Union has called for restraint, urging Trump to reconsider his position. The Arab League has condemned the plan as a blatant violation of international law. They argue that it undermines Palestinian sovereignty and jeopardizes any prospect of a two-state solution. Russia and China, both permanent members of the UN Security Council, have expressed serious reservations. They view Trump's plan as a dangerous provocation that could have far-reaching consequences for global security. Trump's rationale for the Gaza takeover rests on the idea of peace through power. He argues that decades of failed diplomacy and ongoing violence between Israel and Hamas justify a more assertive approach. He claims that only the United States possesses the strength and resolve to impose order and stability in the region. Trump cites Hamas's control of Gaza and its designation as a terrorist organization by the US and other countries as justification for intervention. He argues that Hamas's ideology and actions pose an ongoing threat to both Israel and US interests in the region. Critics argue that Trump's plan is reckless and counterproductive. They contend that a US takeover of Gaza would likely exacerbate tensions, fuel anti-American sentiment, and lead to more violence. They also point out that the plan lacks any clear strategy for achieving its stated goals of peace and stability. Section 4. A History of Conflict, Gaza's Turbulent Past. The Gaza Strip has been a persistent flashpoint in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict for decades. After the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, Egypt took control of Gaza. Israel captured the territory in the 1967 Six-Day War. The Oslo Accords in the 1990s aimed to establish a framework for a two-state solution, granting Palestinians limited self-governance in Gaza and parts of the West Bank. However, the peace process stalled, and tensions escalated. Following Israel's disengagement from Gaza in 2005, Hamas gained control of the territory after winning elections in 2006. Israel and Egypt subsequently imposed a blockade on Gaza, citing security concerns. The blockade, coupled with recurrent outbreaks of violence between Israel and Hamas, has resulted in a dire humanitarian situation in Gaza. The territory suffers from high unemployment, poverty, and limited access to essential resources. Section 5. A Powder Keg. The Potential for Global Conflagration. Trump's plan for Gaza has ignited fears of a wider conflict that could draw in regional and global powers. The involvement of Iran, a staunch supporter of Hamas, is a particular concern. Tehran has already condemned the plan, vowing to stand with the Palestinian people. A US military intervention in Gaza could trigger a chain reaction, leading to a regional war that engulfs the entire Middle East. Such a conflict could easily escalate into a global conflagration, drawing in major powers like Russia and China. The potential for miscalculation and escalation is high. The presence of US troops in Gaza could invite attacks from Hamas, Iran, or other militant groups. Any retaliation by the United States could lead to a spiral of violence that quickly spins out of control. Section 6. Divided We Stand. America's response to Trump's gamble. Trump's Gaza plan has further polarized an already divided America. Supporters of the plan view it as a bold and decisive action necessary to protect American interests and combat terrorism. They argue that Trump is right to take a tough stance against Hamas and assert American leadership in the region. Opponents of the plan, however, view it as reckless and dangerous. They argue that it will entangle the United States in another costly and unwinnable war in the Middle East. They fear that the plan will alienate allies, fuel anti-American sentiment, and ultimately make the United States less safe. Protests have erupted in major cities across the United States, reflecting the deep divisions within American society. The plan has also drawn sharp criticism from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, highlighting the political risks associated with Trump's gamble. Gap 3S, Section 7, The Human Cost, The Unseen Faces of Conflict. Amidst geopolitical maneuvers, it's easy to overlook the human dimension of Trump's Gaza plan. Gaza's people face blockades, poverty, and violence with an uncertain future. Families are torn apart. Children grow up amidst ruins, and survival is a daily struggle. Humanitarian organizations warn of a looming crisis, with restricted access to essential services. The psychological toll on Gaza's residents is immeasurable. Israeli citizens also live in constant alert with the threat of rocket attacks. The human cost reverberates through the entire region, affecting countless lives. While leaders debate, the real price is paid by ordinary people. Their stories remind us of the true impact of conflict. We must not forget the human faces behind the headlines. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful videos. Hit the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching. Section 7. The Road Ahead. Expert Analysis and Uncertain Futures. As the world grapples with the implications of Trump's Gaza plan, experts are divided on its potential outcomes. Some believe that the plan is doomed to fail, arguing that it is based on a flawed understanding of the complexities of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. They warn that the plan will likely backfire, leading to more violence and instability in the region. Other experts, however, believe that Trump's plan, while risky, could potentially succeed in achieving its stated goals. They argue that a strong U.S. military presence in Gaza could deter Hamas and other militant groups, creating a more secure environment for Israel. They also believe that the plan could pave the way for renewed peace negotiations between Israel and the Palestinians. The road ahead is fraught with uncertainty. The success or failure of Trump's plan will depend on a multitude of factors, including the reaction of regional actors, the response of the international community, and the willingness of the Israelis and Palestinians to engage in meaningful dialogue. Only time will tell what the ultimate consequences of Trump's gamble will be. One thing is for sure, the stakes are incredibly high, and the world is watching with bated breath.